Okay, I want to apologize. My camera is, I don't know, 10, 12 years old, the one that I'm using today. And it used to tell me change batteries, and it would give me a couple of minutes to do that. This one it doesn't, it just shuts off. So whatever software update or whatever is going on that, I don't know. But it's just, it's getting tired. Time to replace it. Anyway, we were doing the bag, and let me see where the bag was. Well, now I've lost that. How do I lose a bag? We're doing number 15. Sorry, that's a little bit out of sequence again. Anyway, we'll do 15, then we'll come back to it. But you see what I've got going on here with the bag on the eye. I've got not a lot. I didn't put a lot on there, but I gave it a little bit so that you can see the bag on both sides. Let's go ahead and do that other one. I apologize for getting out of sequence. This one should be step number 12, and I'm doing it on 15. So no big deal. No big deal. Instead of doing it with a knife, I do it with a V-tool. And then I'm going to just come in here and just shave off a little bit of that harsh line right there. Okay. And then I said, you know, we do a few lines in there, wrinkles or whatever. And we got that. And so you get bags. And so now let's go ahead and add wrinkles and all the other stuff that we need from 12 on. So number 12, I want these eyes. And so I'm going to draw bags on some of them. So this guy's got kind of a little bag here, and I'm just going to draw a bag and leave it alone. Not much to it. And then I'm going to come in here with the wrinkles and add a few more. I just want to add a few wrinkles. So you see what I'm doing. Wrinkles out here at the edge called crow's feet or whatever line that is. Whatever line that is. Eyelids, eyeballs, bags, and any wrinkles you want to add. You could certainly add as many wrinkles as you want. I'm going to skip bags on here. I'm going to give them to this guy because he really looks like he needs bags. And so we'll just come out here with a knife, add a wrinkle. Take off that chip under that wrinkle so it shows that there's the upper eyelid. And then we'll start under that. Let me move in a little bit more so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. So we're going to start right under that bag, or right under that line, sorry, and give him some real droopy bags. And some people's bags droop out here, and some people's bags droop in here. In other words, they get thin and they get wide, thicker. Thin as in this thickness, like up and down. And some of them get bigger out here. It just depends on the person and the kind of structure of the eyeball that they have and the things they've gone through in their life. You know, people that spend a lot of time out in the sun certainly don't look as the same as somebody who doesn't spend a lot of time out in the sun. Come out of there, doggone. So we'll start under there and give him one of those droopy old bags that's droopy down here. Okay, I'm going to go in here and deepen it with a V-tool so his bag is prominent, and we'll just leave that there. You can certainly trim it, make it less prominent, take off some of the harsh edges on it, make it tuck up under the eyeball as much as you want. You can do all kinds of things to these bags to give these guys character or give these gals character, whatever you're carving. They can certainly be all kinds of different details. So we're at 12. We're carving all the lines we want. So let's add a few more lines on some of these folks. I don't need much. I don't need to add a whole lot of lines. Just a few. And so we'll add some. We'll leave some off. 1, 2, 3. I don't know. We'll see. This guy's angry, so we better give him some straight angry lines. So if you got 2 on one side and 3 on the other, that's okay. Your face doesn't wrinkle exactly the same way every single time. And so sometimes your upper face have a few more wrinkles than your lower face or whatever. Okay. The next thing we're going to do, step number 13, is shape the cheeks and the nose. And so we certainly have a lot of it from 13 on. We got a real square cheek, so we want to trim some of that off. These real harsh lines that you got in there, trim some of that off. Okay, don't have to take off a lot, but you are going to want to take off some around here the noses. So now we're going to shape the nose, and we haven't really done much with the nose. You have to decide whether it's a gentle slope or if it's going to be a hard slope. Let me show you what that means. Down here at the bottom, I want to give it a rounded feature down here. And then I want to start it about halfway up, and I want to carve up into the bridge of the nose. See the profile there? Okay. Take off those hard lines right there. And actually the bridge of the nose is going to go a little bit deeper. And then we're going to carve the nostrils. I know some people that will take a gouge like this and put it right here. I'll show you what that looks like. And just go, don't go straight in like this. Don't go at an angle like this. You'll undercut it. You want to be like this, angling away of that nose. And it gives you that nary shape that you want. And come in here, and I didn't flatten that one, did I? So come in here and take a little bit of that off. So you're shaping in that nares. Clean that up with the gouge a little bit. It'll look weird because it's got this line on it. So we'll carve that line off. No big deal. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So yeah, let me shape that nares a little bit more. Take this harsh edge off right here. I don't like it. I'm on number 9. I'm supposed to be on 13. My apologies. I'm getting all messed up here. Okay. Shaping that nares. Shaping. I don't think shaping is a word. So we'll get rid of that. Get rid of these harsh lines here. We did what to one side, we'll do it to the other. We're going to go in here, go straight in, and slide angle away. And then come back out here and cut those edges off. I don't want them there. Come back out here and cut out here. Shape again with that smaller gouge that we had. And then round that nose, because the nose is fleshy. So it's going to be rounded and softer than necessarily cheekbones or something else. So we're just going to kind of round that off a little bit. Take some of these harsh lines. Take our drawing lines off of there. I like to come up here to the top of the nares and come in and come back out. Just adds a little, it separates that nares just a little bit more, or nostril, or whatever you want to call it. Clean that up. So I use a small gouge, a small fishtail gouge, and I use this to kind of clean places up in here, because I don't want chewed up, cut up wood in there. I want it to be nice and faceted. I apologize, I keep getting off camera. Clean up my lines here so that you don't see all my drawing marks. Okay. We are on step 13. We're still shaping the cheeks and the nose and trying to get everything cleaned up on cheeks and nose. And that's where we're at on this guy. Almost got him to where he needs to go. I'm going to separate those nostrils, or the eyebrows, just a little bit more. Just by coming in at a slight angle and taking off that edge right there. And that gives my eyebrows a little definition. You got that little line right there. I sometimes do it with a V-tool. Makes it more pronounced. Am I on the camera? And I'm just adding that line right there. Just separating a little bit. Don't need much. Take a little bit more back to the bridge of the nose. And take a little bit more off along the side. Just a little bit so it doesn't stick out much. So that everything goes into that part of the tear duct. And I'd say that face is looking pretty fire, as the kids say. Or fly, whichever one they're using today. You look fly. Okay, we're going to do the same thing to all of these, although every one of them is going to be a slightly different one. So, I'll tell you what I'm doing as I do it, but you're going to want to experiment a little bit, play around with it a little bit, figure out what you want. Move that nose up as much as you want. I'm going to make this one a little bit shorter. Some people have an angle here that's 45 and 45. Some people are straight in this way. Some people are straight that way. Some people have all kinds of different angles. You're carving the caricature that you see in your head. So I want you to have the freedom to do whatever you want. Now, if you'll notice, as I cut back to the bridge of the nose, this eye is sticking out. So I may, like I said earlier, I may have to go back and clean some of this stuff up. I may have to go back and make it better. And that's just the nature of carving in wood. You never know particularly what you're going to get. I've seen professional carvers that end up carving something 3, 4, 5 times because when they took wood off, which sometimes the wood will tell you how much it wants to come off, when they take the wood off, all of a sudden there's something sticking out that shouldn't be there or not as shaped as it should be. So you gotta open up to the ambiguity. The ambiguity of what the wood is going to tell you it wants to do. You got to open yourself up to that. And you got to be able to play with that. And you got to be able to make that work for you. You cannot let your carving get away from you in terms of what you're doing. So, and if it does, then, maybe you just need a little change of what you were doing. Maybe he was going to be this and it's gonna be that, and so you get to play around with that and do what you want to with that. So all I'm doing is shaping nose, eyes, and nostrils, and so here we are. We're just making it round. We're gonna go out here to the. I'm not gonna use this tool again. I don't want it. I want it done with a knife. So for those of you that are purists, that really insist on everything being done with a knife, I get you. I hear you. I'm going to do that on this one. So all I'm doing is shaping that nose just a little bit. Taking off the stuff I want to take off, leaving on the stuff I want to leave on. And so in this case, this is really good wood. I got this wood from a guy named Tom Checketts in Utah. You could probably Google him on Facebook or something. He's got some really good wood. He came to our show. He's been coming to our show with Jim Grace. Jim got out of the wood business, and so Tom took it over, and I bought some really, really good wood from him. But I also got some really good wood from our local woodcraft too. So I can't say I have one source. I've ordered from Heineke. I love their wood. Not crazy about what the U.S. Postal Service and UPS and FedEx have done to the shipping prices. I realize gas has gone up and there's not much you can do about it, but I will unfortunately have to buy local as much as I can, or we'll have to see them when they come to a show. So I plan on going to the CCA Carve in the Rockies in September when they're at Colorado Springs, and I'm looking forward to that trip. And I don't know that I'll be able to get wood there because I'm flying and renting a car. It's about it's a long drive from where we live. So anyway, One of the things I wanted to show you that that a lot of people do on the nostrils is instead of carving them with a knife, they come in here and carve them with a gouge. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm coming into the nose, turning, rotating, and going up along the side of the nose. Let me do it over here. I'm coming into the side of the nose, going in and curling out, and then riding that edge all the way up to the bridge of the nose. That gives it a little bit shape. I can come in here with a smaller one. Let me see if I can find a smaller one real quick. This is a Drake gouge. I can come in here with a smaller one and come across the nose, not turn up, and shape that nose a little bit more like that. So I just come across the nose at the top of the nares, and just come out like that, and it gives it a different shape. You get a little different shape on that nose. And then some people will further come in and add some sharp details to separate it. So just come in with a V-tool and add another little layer of detail. Again, this is yours. You do whatever you want to with it. But usually by the time I do a face stick to this point, I'm changing a number of things. Moving the nose up, flattening it out, making it less round, more round, depends on what I want to do. But that one looks pretty good, except for right up here where I got lines drawn all over it. So again, this is a generic face for practice. I like doing these because it gives me a chance, if I want to work something out on a piece of wood. And then sometimes I'll do this on a 6-inch piece because I only want to practice a little bit with a particular cut. Take the pointed part of the nose, sharp part, come out here and cut the outside of the, sorry, I'm off camera. So let's cut the outside of the nares. I did not take this off earlier, so I'll flatten that out a little bit more. And take that cut right there out, the top of that smile line, deepen it a little bit. That doggone thing didn't want to get out of there. There we go. So I'm just, again, our last step on 15 and 16 was last details and carving the nose and the mouth. So we'll get to the mouth here in just a little bit. I just wanted to finish these fellas up and get them where I wanted them to go. Again, clean, 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 and I'm not being clean. I'm leaving little fuzzies everywhere. Not being a good student, am I? Okay. One more of these fellas. I believe we got some good looking faces on this thing. Some of them anyway. All right. Again, another type of nose where you come in from the point out here and carve back to form the nares with a gouge. I like that one. But you've got to have a big nose to start with, or otherwise you end up cutting too much off. See that shape on that nose? And so I've got to come back up here and reshape this one Again, this is our mad guy. And so one of the things we can do to show him that he's mad, I'm going to come in here with this gouge again, and I just want to take off a little bit of wood. I don't need to take off much, but I'm just relieving him because I'm going to do something here that I think is pretty interesting. Come on. Come on. Okay. One of the things I like to do when they're mad and angry, if you scrunch up your face, you scrunch up some of the skin on the nose. And so I like to come in here with a gouge, sorry, a V-tool. This is a slightly bigger one than my mini. And I'm just going to come over here and just give it some scratches, almost like he's wrinkled up a little bit. See those wrinkles there? It looks like he's wrinkled his nose up because he's furious at somebody. Somebody stole the last Coke out of the vending machine, or the restaurant he wanted to eat at today is not open because they can't find enough people in the COVID to staff it. So he can get it and take it home, and he don't really want to do that. He wants to eat there in the store. So you get an idea of how that nose looks a little bit scrunched up because he's mad. Anyway, another thing you can do to it. All right, before we move on to doing the mouth, we want to do the nostrils. And in reality, I normally do nostrils at the very last, and so that's what I'm going to save. I know it doesn't say anywhere on there carve the nostrils, especially the openings at the bottom. So we're going to save that till last. So the next thing we're going to do is mouth. This is one of the last steps on my sheet. So I'm going to back off just a little bit. All right, so we're going to carve the mouth. So now here's what you get to choose, and we're going as far back as we want, but I'm only going to do it on 15. So 15 looks like a normal face, and so I'm just going to give it just a straight across shape to it. His mouth's going to look like that. Sorry, his mouth's going to look like that. It's straight across. There's a little chip out of the corner we're going to take, and another chip out of the corner. And then we'll give him just a straight on face. That's a simple one that you can certainly do whatever you want to with. But anyway, I'm going to take a knife, and I'm going to go into that corner of the mouth. Sorry, drag it straight across, not too deep, and it's going to be deeper in the corners and deeper in the just like in the eyes. I want to take out that little chip there, or that little, make a cut right there, and a cut right there. And I start in the corners. And I come in here and a real sharp chip out of that corner. Can you see that? I want that same chip coming out of the bottom. Maybe slightly bigger. But I want them to look like that smile goes way back into that face, and there's all kinds of mystery back in there. Same thing on this side. Take out the chip on the top really sharply. As sharp as in sharp angle. I don't want to lay it down like this. I want to come in like that. And the same thing right there. Make those clean cuts. Because if you don't, you're going to be cleaning up a lot of filth back in there. Okay? I usually round the top of the lip. Just come down to that cut. Take off that little sliver right there. It outlines the upper lip. But I can go back and further define. I'm going to flip it upside down, and I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom. So I'm just going to cut up to that opening. Now, when we carve mouths, a lot of people talk about what's called a Cupid's bow. Cupid's bow means that your mouth is you're gonna down here at the corner, and then as it goes in, it's going to go up, come back down, go up, and come back down to that corner. I don't like to do a lot of that. I do a lot of cowboys and Santas. Let me draw that with the pen. Cupid's bow would start in the corner and then go up, come back down, go up, and come back down. See how that's kind of like a bow shape? So you do that with your knife. And so if I'm going to do that, I'm going to start right in the middle, and I'm going to carve up to that bow, and then I'm going to come back down and lay my knife in. And that gives me a smile. I'm sorry, not a smile, just a straight looking face. I have to do the other one upside down. So up and curve down. Come in here and take that off. So he kind of looks like he's got, you know, a prominent set of lips. I don't always do those, but sometimes I do. Okay. The bottom lip can be done in a lot of different ways, and a lot of times I just do it with a gouge. I'll just come across with a number 9, number 7, and you just come across below that, ever how fat you want that lip to be. Just come across, and I like to make it disappear into that corner. See how it disappears up into that corner? So you see his lip, and then you got to come back in here and do some cleanup with the knife or undercut with something else, but it's a fairly prominent lip. Come back in here and outline it. Push it back into that corner. I'm going to lay my knife down flat and take out a little bit of chip so it looks like it's back in there. And then you can have a very sharp edge right here. Let me get both of those sides to look the same, because if I'm going to do one thing to this one side, I got to do it to the other, kind of like math. You add something to this side of the equation, you got to add it to the other, just so you're straight. So there's his lip. I can round it, I can shape it, I can make it sharp, I can undercut it where he's got a big lip sticking out, but I don't usually do a lot. I don't piddle, play, and putter, I guess is what I'm saying. I get in here and I do the mouth and I get it done. Right in the middle when I'm done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight across that first cut I made. I'm going to make it fairly deep, because this is going to give me the opportunity to separate those two lips. I want them looking like they're not stuck together, and he's pursing his lips because he's not happy. His milkshake's taking too long to be made. I want to take a little bit of that off of there. I want to leave that indentation in there, and if I carve it off, I can always come back in here and carve it in there again. And if I want them slightly separated, I could certainly do that as well. And then down here we have the chin, whatever you want the chin to look like. Usually I'll come back in here and I'll deepen the smile line then to show up down in the face more. And I'll just come in here and just take off a chip. And it just shapes the mouth mound a little bit more. And so come back in here and add a little bit more cut and take off that chip underneath there. And I realize I didn't finish these last two faces because I didn't fix his nose, so let's play around a little bit with that one. And you know what, folks, we're just about done. I've left off one thing I'll leave to the end before I sign off. Maybe you can figure out what I've left. I'll leave you in suspense for a few minutes while I piddle and play and shut up here. I'll just carve. A lot of times I like to play around with these faces. I'll just try something, see if it works. And you know what? Sometimes it does. Sometimes it don't. Clean up a little bit here. I got a fuzzy there. I got another one right here. And I got another one right there. And I've got lines here I don't want. Lines here I don't want. Let me let's get this guy. The last one we got, he's going to be angry. So we're going to give him a kind of a don't mess with me attitude. I'm going to follow that same process. I didn't draw it in, but his mouth down here at the edge. Mouth down here at the edge. We give him a big old pouty lip. How's that? I'm going to take more off the top than I normally would, because he's going to be pretty perturbed. Then we're going to round his mouth over. Give him a big old lip, so I'm only going to take a little bit off here, but I'm going to undercut it quite a bit. Don't look very happy, does he? Separate those lips just a little bit. Come out of there. Now, before you show your face stick to anybody, go back and clean up these little details, pen marks you left laying there, fuzzies all over the place. I'm doing this just for a video, so I'm showing you what to do, but you're going to take it a little bit further when you do your own. Anyway, there are two things I forgot to do that I haven't done yet. I hope you've guessed them both. One of them is the nostrils. I haven't carved in the nostrils underneath here, and the second one is what we call the snot trough, or the mouth trough. So men have a very pronounced trough under their nose for most of us. Call it the snot trough for any lack of any better word. I know there's a word for it. Somebody put it in the comments for me so I'll know what it is, because I'm too lazy to go look it up. But that, you have that nostril there. That helps form that Cupid's bow that I said. The other thing we do is not the nostril, the nose trough. The other thing we didn't do was the nostril. I'm going to show you an easy way to do that. I find the center line and I put one line right there, and then about a millimeter or two off to the right and left, I write two lines. Doesn't matter what knife you use, but the thicker it is, the more it's going to separate. I'm going to go straight in. This is my little knife, little bitty knife. I'm going to go straight into that nostril, make sure I'm not cutting down here. And then I'm going to come back out and do it the same one to the other side, because, same one math, same one side, we've got to do it to the other. I'm going to come over here, and I'm just going to come in around in a cut. And I'm going to take out that chip. And if I don't like it, I can always make it bigger, make it deeper, and cut out that chip. See that nostril? once you take off the little stuff out here. Do it to the same side. I made that cut, so I'm going to come over here and do it again. I made that cut, and I want to do another one right here. Come in here and take that chip out. It's not as big as the other one, so I'll make it a little bit bigger. Come here and take that chip out. I didn't go up high enough. There we go. And he's got 2 nostrils. Take this off a little bit. And he's not happy. Anyway, there is the down and dirty of doing a face study stick. They're very useful. I like the ones I've created. I got a box of them sitting over here. Some of them are completed, some of them are not. But I like them because they really work in terms of practice. Look at this. You've done 15 noses. You've done, 10 eyes or whatever you've done on here. And you could certainly have a lot of fun with these, but I hope you enjoy the video. I'll have that loaded as soon as I can, and we'll see you at the next video or around the carving table. Call me up. I'll come teach if I can afford it. Talk to you later.